Hello, welcome to the Community Church of Chapel Hill, Unitarian Universalist. My name is George Thompson, and I am a member of the Worship Associates Ministry at the church. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you came to this virtual worship service, you are welcome here.
Hi, I'm Kathy Farinola, co-chair of Community Church's Habitat for Humanity project. This year, COVID has reminded us how important it is for people to have a safe haven, a home. And while COVID has slowed us, it hasn't stopped our efforts to build safe, affordable homes for our neighbors in need. This year, we're building a home for a Burmese refugee family. Leda and Nage, their 2-year-old son, and Nage's mother came to Chapel Hill from a refugee camp in Thailand. Leda works for Chapel Hill Carborough Schools. Right now they're living with a family in Mehrbach, and they're eager to set down their roots here.
I'm Dave Morgan, Kathy's co-chair, and this is Lade and Nage's energy-efficient 3-bedroom house on Odie Street, part of a 26-home Habitat neighborhood in Hillsborough. Since 1994, we've worked with Habitat to build 21 single-family homes, a duplex, and 4 townhouse blocks for senior citizens. Our Building Hope partnership of 5 churches pays half the cost and Habitat the other half. Families pay back the Habitat part in zero-interest mortgages. Families work with us to build their homes, so we provide them with a hand up, not a handout. It is difficult to find a way to help the people of Burma, Myanmar, in their struggle for democracy, safety, and freedom. But we can help the Burmese here. To continue our work with Habitat, please be generous in today's Share the Plate.
Leda said, "We're lucky to get a Habitat house. Thank you to the people who have helped us."
The best way to make a contribution is through the Give Now section of the virtual service page. You may use this approach for up to 5 days after the service. To give after Thursday, write a check payable to the church noting STP on the memo line. Mail the check to Dana Lundquist at the church's address. Thank you.
Our call to worship this morning is called Welcome to Planet Earth. In some ways, we are a very small planet. There are 7 or 8 other planets in our solar system. There are 100 billion other solar systems in our galaxy, and there may be 2 trillion other galaxies in the universe. We are a small planet and a great big universe. In other ways, we are a great big planet. Our planet is home to more than 8 million species of animals, from tiny termites to enormous elephants. Our planet contains all the air we will ever breathe, all the water we will ever drink, and all the food we will ever eat. From the highest mountains to the wildest rainforests to the deepest oceans, our planet is big and mysterious and wonderful. Even though our planet is small in the scheme of the universe, it is big for us. It holds every person, every pet, every breath, every sip, every snack. Because it holds so much, it holds all the life we know about. It is also very precious. It is worth protecting and celebrating. Come with us as we celebrate the earth. Come, let us worship together. For our chalice lighting this morning, please join me in saying the words that our children use in their worship services. We light our chalice to celebrate Unitarian Universalism. This is the church of the open mind. This is the church of the loving heart. This is the church of the helping hands.
This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant, spin us around. All through the night, safe till the morning light. This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant, spin us around. All through the night, safe till the morning light. This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun goes down, gentle blue giant, spin us around. All through the night, safe till the morning light. This pretty planet spinning through space, your garden, your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun goes down, gentle blue giant, spin us around. All through the night, safe till your harbor, your holy place. Golden sun going down, gentle blue giant, spin us around. All through the night, safe till the morning light.
What you doing, Kat?
Oh, I'm making a list.
Making a list? Why?
Well, I'm getting ready for Earth Day. And this is a thankful list of Earth things. Let's see. What can I put on this list? I have a lot of ideas, but I am having trouble getting started.
Why are you making an Earth thankful list to celebrate Earth Day? I thought Earth Day was a day that we commit to protecting the Earth's environment. How does a list help with that?
Oh, Marion, lists help with everything, and gratitude is the beginning of everything. You start with thanks, and then it inspires you to take care of what you are thankful for. It's step one, an important first step, but I'm just having trouble getting started. I just have one thing on my list. Chickens. I am thankful for chickens, but I wonder what else I can put on my list.
I bet the Wonder Box can help with this.
Ooh, good idea.
Oh, look, a book. Earth Day, an alphabet book by Gary Kowalski and illustrations by Rocco, Baviera.
Let's read it. Maybe it will help me with my list. We give thanks for the earth and its creatures and are grateful A to Z.
A, for alligators, apricots, acorns, and apple trees.
Apples, alpacas.
And azaleas, lots of azaleas.
B, for bumblebees, bananas, blueberries.
And beagles, that's my beagle and my boy.
B is also for beaver ponds.
C, for coconuts, crawdads, cornfields, and coffee.
Cactus, clouds.
Cliffs and chicks.
That's my chicken and my child.
D, E, F, daisies, elephants, and flying fish.
D is also for dirt and dogs.
E is for emus.
F is for flowers, ferns, fire.
G for groundhogs, glaciers, and grasslands.
And gardens.
And globes.
H and I, hippos and hazelnuts, icicles and iguanas.
H is also for hills and hawks.
And I was for icicles, right? Look at those cuties with their icicles.
J, K, L for juniper, jackrabbits, and June bugs, kumquats and kangaroos, lightning bugs, and licorice.
Jaguars.
And kayaks could be on that list.
List brings us to L, which is also for llamas, lambs, and leaves.
M for mountains, milkweed, and mistletoe.
Moss and mud.
N, O, narwhals and nasturtiums, otters, and ocelots.
Did you say narwhals?
Don't forget orchids.
Or oceans for O?
P and Q for peonies, persimmons, and polar bears. Quahogs and Queen Anne's lace.
P is also for penguins and pigs, pumpkins, plants, and pine cones, and praying mantis. Look close.
Q is for quality quantities of quartz.
R, S, T for raspberries and roses, salmon and sassafras, tornadoes and tulip wood.
R is for rainbows and rivers.
S is for snow, my favorite, and seagulls too.
T is for tufa formations and Thom with a tortoise.
T is also for trees.
U, V, W, urchins and valleys and waterfalls.
U is for unripe and undergrowth.
V is for volcanoes and vines.
We won't leave out wallabies.
Or waves and wind.
X is for X, the unknown, the mystery of it all.
In every yak and yam.
Z, we are grateful, good earth, not least of all, for zinnias, zucchini, and zebras.
And Jenny, sweet Jenny, watching snowfall atop Mount Zugspitz, a treat for us all.
And for the alphabet of wonderful things that are as simple as A, B, C.
Did that help?
Yes. I've added so many earth things to my list.
This is a really good book. Did you know the author, Gary Kowalski, was the minister of our church for 1 year?
Yes, I did know that. It's even more fun to read a book when you actually know the author.
You know what else? I am so glad that many people sent us pictures to help us with your gratitude list.
Me too. This is going to help me celebrate Earth Day, thinking of all the beauty and wonder of the earth.
And then to help take care of it. Happy Earth Day.
Happy Earth Day.
On the ground level, turtles and leopards and snakes live in the shelter the youngest story makes. The ground is so soft and the air is so clear, with 300 inches of rain every year. Oh, let the rain come down, feed the thirsty ground. Rain come down, sing me beyond earth's canopy, beyond earth's canopy, beyond earth's canopy. The rain comes down, feed the thirsty ground. Rain come down, sing me the song we sing, such a beautiful rain come down. Oh, let the rain come down, feed the thirsty ground. Rain come down, sing me the song we sing, such a beautiful sound. Rain come down, rain come down, rain come down, rain come down.
An Earth Day homily for April 18th, 2021. The last time I had a sabbatical was 12 years ago, and for my sabbatical, I went to live and travel in South America for several months. It was an amazing time, but my favorite part of that time was spending a week in the Amazon rainforest. I went to visit a travel agent in Ecuador to buy this tour, and the travel agent showed me a fancy brochure with pictures of hotel rooms in the Amazon. This tour was pretty expensive. And then she showed me a cheaply made brochure with pictures of the rainforest. This tour was very, very inexpensive, and I decided I was going to get that one. She smiled at me, took out a scrap of paper, and wrote the name of a restaurant in a small town out on the edge of the rainforest, and then wrote a date and a time, 12 o'clock. I took a small plane to that small town on the edge of the rainforest, found my way to that restaurant, and at noon, a van pulled up, and I got in. And we drove for 4 hours on a dirt road, and then got to a river, and we got in a busted-up canoe with a motor. Motoring down the river in the canoe, we passed that nice hotel that I saw in the brochure. And then we went on. 2 more hours deeper and deeper into the jungle. Finally, we arrived at a small clearing where there were a few open-air huts with thatched roofs. We would be sleeping in the jungle. During dinner, the first night, we were sitting around a table under one of the thatched roof structures. And right there, as we were eating, a lizard, this big, fell from the ceiling and nearly landed on our dinner table. In the rainforest, we saw monkeys, boa constrictors, toucans, 3-toed sloth, and pink river dolphins. Yes, there is such a thing as pink river dolphins in the Amazon River. My favorite animals, though, were these birds that wove these wonderful hanging nests. And these birds had the most interesting call. Sounded like this. Whoop, whoop, whoop. One night, our guide took us out walking in the rainforest at night, searching for some of the creatures that become active in the dark. We were walking through the rainforest at night. It became very, very dark. And all around us, it was very, very loud with insects and frogs and birds and monkeys and who knows what else, all making their sounds. And it began to rain very, very hard. Imagine all of that sound, all of that darkness, all of that feeling of being surrounded by the rainforest. And in that moment, at night, I felt very, very, very small. The world of nature felt so immense around me, and I felt a sense of awe as I held this understanding that there was this ecosystem, this force of nature so much larger than me, supporting all of the life, the amazing life in this place. I'm going to share one more story about another experience in the rainforest. This one was a sad experience. Driving back after spending a week in the rainforest, the van passed a place where the jungle had all been cut down. An oil company had cut down an enormous section of the rainforest to drill for fossil fuels. And the area that they had destroyed to do this was unimaginably large. Ground ripped up for as far as the eye could see. In that sad moment, gazing out at this destruction, I was filled with a sense of awe again, a different sort of awe. Awe of how destructive the systems of which we are a part can be. Seeing the part of the rainforest that had been destroyed reminds me of the necessity of changing systems. Changing systems so that we all might live. Forces of nature and its power to give life are extremely large. We are in awe of those ecosystems and all the life that they can bring to the world. And the human power to destroy is very large as well, and reminds us of the importance of working to change those immense systems in order to bring more life to the world, in order to protect this planet. Those are some of my adventures from my week in the rainforest. And as you think about times when nature has brought you that sense of awe, that sense of wonder, that sense of gratitude, I ask you to consider what you might do to change the systems in which we live in order to protect our planet. Amen.
Heart of the Heartland is a beautiful piece that Glenn and I have performed several times over the years at church services. We also recorded it on our Sundays 2 CD. Many of you know that it was written by a great musician named Peter Ostroushko, who graced our church with 2 very memorable concerts at which I had the great honor to accompany him. I had known Peter since the late 1970s. I met him while he was traveling with Robin and Linda Williams through upstate New York, and we stayed in touch over the many years that followed. In 2007, I began doing duo performances with him, and it was unquestionably one of the most musically rich experiences of my life. Peter died in February of this year, and he has left behind a lot of broken-hearted family and friends, musical and otherwise. But I draw a lot of comfort knowing that he has a monumental musical legacy that will live on forever. When he left behind something as beautiful as this piece, the waves he made will always be moving. Thank you, Peter.
Each week, we hold in our service a time for sharing the joys and the sorrows that we bring with us into this church community. This past week, several members of our church community reached out to me, asking me to place stones for joys as well as for sorrows. Before we begin, I'd like to place 3 stones. The first stone is in memory of Dante Wright, age 20, of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Second stone is for Adam Toledo, age 13, of Chicago, Illinois. The third stone is a stone for all of us to have the resolve to demand that it stop, and to demand that the taking of Black lives ends. From within our community, Jane and Scott Proven asked me to place a stone mourning the loss of their good friend Gerald Miwa of Chapel Hill, who died March 27th at the age of 75 in his sleep of unknown causes. Jane writes, Gerald was of Japanese descent and was born in a Japanese internment camp on the West Coast during World War II. His family is devastated, and he leaves many friends and family from all over the world feeling his loss deeply. Jane especially holds her dear friend Barbara close to her heart. Jane also writes, "We always thought Gerald would live a long, long, long life, as his mother, Yoshi, is still alive and well at the age of 107. So for Gerald's entire family and all of the friends who miss him, we hold them in our hearts. Cecilia Warshaw asked me to place a stone of sorrow for her younger brother, Lynn Pinka, who passed away early last Sunday after a long struggle with cancer. While Cecilia is grateful that Lynn no longer suffers, she says she will miss their long talks, his homespun witticisms that both rang true and made her smile, and the mischief that danced in his eyes since he was little. Lynn loved his family dearly and lived intentionally, so work did not overshadow time with them. Cecilia asks that we hold Lynn's wife, Gail, their 3 children and 3 grandchildren in our thoughts. Ellen and Susan Spalt asked me to place a stone for a tragedy which struck a family that they've become friends with in Seattle. They asked that we drop a stone for Jean and Janice Dupuis, whose daughter and son-in-law were killed in a car accident a week ago, April 6th. Their loss left 2 children who were not hurt in the accident. Jean and Janice, Alan and Susan Wright, have been very involved with their primary school age grandchildren and are devastated. We grieve for them and with them. John and Ruth Leopold asked me to place a stone of joy this Sunday. Today they are celebrating their 55th wedding anniversary. Congratulations, John and Ruth Leopold. We place one final stone, as we do each week, for all those joys and sorrows which we hold in our hearts, which were not spoken. Amidst all of these joys and sorrows, amidst the tragedies and the great joys of this world, and in gratitude for this beautiful planet, we say Amen. Blessed be.
Far away from the rolling
I invite you to join with me in the words by which we extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Now, won't you please join with me in singing Shalom.